Quantum bombs.
What you're described as democide.
Is that when the government uses the military against them, or?
It's death by government. I can read. It's do you want? I got the definition if you want it.
Please.
The intentional killing of an unarmed or disarmed person by government agents acting in their authoritative capacity and pursuant to government policy or high command. That's democide, and it's the largest killer of humans ever. Like, what's the largest killer? It's democide. Like, so it's like if we want to focus on what the biggest threat is, but how many people die, it's her computer.
Sorry, guys.
Democide kills more humans than anything.
That's actually
Cars are second.
really interesting. So if we really value human life, because that's what and I don't mean to mock that senator or whoever talking, but he was playing on people's emotions. If we really care about human life, then we would actually say, wow, we should do everything we can to avoid democide.
I haven't been listening to Joe. Obviously, the Second Amendment has always been and is now about hunting and nothing else.
Oh, yeah.
You mean it wasn't about democide?
He says deer, they don't wear bulletproof vests,
That's
so they
true.
always try and make it about hunting.
It's common sense.
It's actually, I'm glad we're talking about
Like,
you
just need a single shot rifle to kill a deer.
Yeah, who said anything about deer?
Yeah, you brought up hunting. The Second Amendment ain't about hunting.
Right.
I mean, they realized that people were agrarian back then, and they lived in rurally. That hunting was a presumption.
We didn't need to protect that. We have to do it. That's like banning spoons.
Exactly. That's how people put food on their table. No one said you needed to.
We need to make sure we put a bill in there protecting forks, knives, and spoons because we use those things.
So Russell Brand I always like him because, on quantum bombs, I do want to bring us to a higher thought process. I'd say 25% of the world's population understands why America holds to their guns, right? And if we were evaluating our conversation right now, you'd say it's fear of government democide or taking over, right? Fear of losing our rights as individuals. So then how do we make a world where, because he was trying to find the common ground, like how do we make a world where there's less fear of tyranny from government?
Well, yeah, so how do you enlighten 100% of the population, not 99%? Because all it takes is
the minute you have someone in power, they will, whether it's a large group or a small group, but they will separate and they will oppress you or put you into some form of slavery or
here's what's
genocide.
funny. No one believes in gun control. They just believe in gun distribution, where they should be. Because we don't get rid of guns. We don't. I've been all over Europe. There's lots of guns in the hands of the government and the people in charge. Here in America, the common people have guns, but guns aren't going anywhere.
Well, I think what you're saying is, and it's good to frame it this way, is that they're advocates of monopolies, and
they want all the guns.
They want They want a monopoly on force.
Yes.
And if you start this conversation before they know they're getting into a gun debate, just be like, "Are you against monopolies?" Like, yeah, they're bad. Be like, are you sure you're against all kinds of monopolies? Yeah. Be like, well, then you wouldn't be for gun control because that just puts a monopoly on force.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, all these getting together and having group parties get together where you talk about your plans or your political ideas, you want to change things. It all sounds great, but if the powers that be oppose you, they're not going to write you a sternly written letter. They're going to show up in SWAT vehicles with guns in your face and put you on the ground and make you do what they want you to do.
So Rex did a quote. I'm curious where that came from.
What's that?
Say it again. Absolute power.
Oh, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
You hear it so much, you never hear where it's from.
That's funny because I don't know where it's from.
Yeah.
But no,
it's probably one of those that don't have it's a quote, the unknown, because it's so common.
But
I was curious, Matt. How much ammo and guns is in the United States? Like we know that we're armed, but
the ammo is in the trillions, and I own most of it. No, I'm just kidding. The ammo's got to be in the trillions of rounds.
I've heard 400 million guns and 12 trillion rounds of ammunition. That's just a number I've heard thrown out.
Well, look at it this way:
400 million guns and 12
more guns than
12 trillion.
Well, there was 3 guns per person.
It's more than that.
3 guns per person. No, this is good to be said.
During the Cold War, the Soviet Union did a study. They took a section of the United States in the South, and they did math that if everyone in that section that owned guns had 4 rounds of ammunition, then it would render any paratroop invasion moot.
Say that again with the 4 rounds of
They
ammunition?
said that if they said that basically, let's put it this way to simplify it, that if every American with a gun had 4 rounds of ammunition, the Soviet Union did a study that said that, and if we tried to attack the United States with a paratroop attack, it would be overrun with civilians, armed civilians. It was actually a deterrent during the Cold War.
I remember
to
you
invasion.
telling me
World War
this.
II as well, I think.
Well, that was the
didn't wanna
Japanese
hit.
So
thing.
I
He
guess-
said behind every blade of grass would be a man with a rifle. The Japanese knew that. The ownership, the civilian ownership of firearms in the United States has been a deterrent to foreign invasion.
Actually, I think that's a fabulous topic. And the reason people, and maybe even on the left, may agree with me is
They're
it's a
screaming right
positive.
now.
It's a positive. Well, no,
They're
it's a
not listening.
positive point you're making when it comes to situations like Ukraine. It is positive to have an armed society because then you're not literally passing out. What do they call them?
passed out a bunch of
ARs
guns.
to
AK-47s.
common citizens. Instead, you have
People who knew how to use them from
also
the
a
beginning.
good point that JP made in his video is you have law-abiding citizens that are very educated within most gun owners. Like you could try to stereotype us all you want, but you're getting to meet a few, and most gun owners are very, they take pride in owning one, and they do all the measurement and
They're trained. They use them. They know how to. Like for instance, like the Ukraine, they threw AK-47s into the hands of people who had never used them before,
Right.
which was still effective.
Apparently.
But it's interesting that was their knee-jerk reaction. Quick, arm our citizens. And I said right then, the gun debate's over. I mean, why would you need military-style weapons? They just did it in Ukraine.
Hey,